Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Well, if you remember recently, that is about a week, within this past week, the Russian leadership, and I'm talking about foreign minister of Russia, Sergei Lavrov, president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, the spokeswoman, the Kremlin's, the Russian spokeswoman, Maria Zakharova. They warned the NATO and the handlers of Ukraine to take it easy and not stop supplying heavy weapons to Ukraine because that most likely will lead to World War III or a nuclear disaster. Hinting that if Russia is pushed, they will you might use that arsenal. Uh, there, as I stated in previous videos, the Russians were consistent, have a high rating and consistency uh, regarding statements and following through with the statements. That's acting upon whatever they say. So if I would be in the position of the Western handlers of ours, I would pay attention to those and I take them into consideration seriously. But it was not to be like that. These statements and these warnings from a nuclear power, big nuclear power, were taken, were just brushed off by, for instance, the U.S. General Austin, then by President Biden, then by Blinken, Secretary of State, then by Tars or whatever her name is, the Prime Minister, not the Prime Minister, the Foreign Minister of Great Britain, by Prime Minister Boris Johnson, and they all said, it's just bluffing, and some other British officials. It's just bravado, it's just bluff, it's just, no, they're not going to do it. But they didn't provide factual evidence or logic to tell us who they decide the life of, our lives, those handlers. Why should we just say they're kidding? Why do they think these guys are kidding about such a serious issue? I would like to know personally, because it's my life. If you don't take that into consideration and deal with those guys, and those guys do that, I'll be gone. And I don't want to be gone on your terms when you say. I want to be gone on my terms when I say. But hey, I live in a free country, right? With free people. Yeah, you make me. Anyway, so I was thinking, what is this? How did it come to this lack of understanding of the Russian way of dealing with things, Russian politics, Russian foreign affair politics or involvement, Russian mentality, Russian culture. That the Russians tell you something that's gonna happen. That's different than weasels. And I was thinking, well, how would Biden say that such a thing, or these people that are in power? They have advisors, because these guys do not have time to read and to learn about each and every country, let alone Biden. Okay, so then they someone appoints, if they are appoint advisors. Like, for instance, I'll give you an example. Donald Trump appointed as senior advisor his son-in-law Kushner on Middle East issues. Kushner did not know shit, zero. He was appointed. That was an advisor. He met the people over there, the actors, who knew who Kushner was because they have information on this guy. They vetted him. They looked. That's how they do. Who's this guy? What women he likes? What boys he likes? What drugs he uses? They know everything about you before they talk to you. They have their agencies. That's a common practice, basic, foundational practice. So anyway, in this case, Biden must have had, and all these guys have their advisors who are experts in everything I said, in the Russian culture, Russian foreign policy, blah, 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 Lavrov, and so on. So they advise this half-dead man who's going to tell us later, oh, yeah, they just what? Yeah, that's what they're going to tell us based on those. And I'm thinking, who are those guys, the advisors? And I'm thinking that advisors must be hacks, political hacks, activists with agendas. So when you have an agenda, you most likely ignore the objective reality in order to make it fit to your worldview and your agenda. So in this case, when these guys are informed by their experts have already their worldview, and they don't follow a scientific method of finding out what is going on. So that reminded me of a person that I watched recently. Actually, I watched this person from time to time, but recently I watched this exact video that I will upload the link in the description box, and I was like, unbelievable. This is the clearest explanation to what these guys are doing, why these guys are off. They don't understand what's going on. Those guys will do what they say they will do. And because here I have, for instance, I'm going to go get back to this gentleman. I have here Stoltenberg saying from NATO, saying that NATO is willing to support Ukraine in the war for years. Have you taken into consideration that might not be years? Can you hear what the Russians said? No. So he's ready for years. He thinks he's going to have like conventional war here and there. He's going to be the big Napoleon on a horse, commander-in-chief. That's what he thinks. Then we have here that Biden woke up and said, oh, no. No one should be making idle comments about the use of nuclear weapons. So his advisor said, hey, you got to be stronger about that. And why not? Why not? No one should send weapons and billions of dollars. It was just approved 33 more billions of dollars from United States and military and whatever kind of humanitarian aid to Ukraine. Nobody should do that. How about that? Nobody should try to get involved in a war that doesn't have to do anything with them. Isn't that the same Biden? So Biden is on a different planet. We got that one. So we have this another Ukrainian foreign minister says world owes Ukraine security. No, nobody owes anything to anybody. But this is our hacks. No, because security vacuum led by war. Who started the war? Who are involved in this war? You and the separatist region that you bombed, the Russian enclave over there, or how you want to call it, right? I'm not going to go into the battalion, Azov battalion, and the infringement of those minorities' rights in the east of Ukraine. I'm not going to go in the overthrow of the politically and democratically elected government in 2014 with the help of the West. I'm not going to go into that, but I just did. So let me go to this more important person. This person I'm going to read, so I don't want to mess anything up. This guy is, his name is Bertrand Russell. I'm going to spell it for you because it's a first name hard for me. Bertrand. Bertrand Russell, Russell. And this is a video. This gentleman is a Nobel Prize winning philosopher, mathematician, and peace activist. And on his 87th birthday, he gave some interviews to BBC and CBS in 1959. And this particular video is this gentleman, Russell. He talks about the message to future generations. And this gentleman is going to give two pieces of advice for the future generation. And I'm always eager to listen to old people. I mean, this guy met Lenin. Lenin was just watch that one when he said that he met Lenin, what Lenin told him about a tree and hanging and peasants and so on. His grandfather met Napoleon, and he was raised by his grandparents, Mr. Russell, and so on. But in this case, I always like to ask old people to tell me one or three things that you think might help me in this world. What did you get out of this world? Tell me your conclusion, and what would be 3 pieces of advice for anyone. I always like that because, low IQ, high IQ, doesn't matter. You go through life and you have your own experiences. You see life and you have to reach almost the same conclusion. All the elder people that I met and I asked this question got almost the same conclusion. So this gentleman says, I'm going to give you 2. And the first one is this. to the future generations. Be objective in collecting information about making determinations later. So basically said, if you want to find the truth, you gotta be objective in getting the information. Don't put feelings in it. Don't put agendas in it. Don't put ideology in it. Just get the evidence as it is and make the decisions based on reality. Well, Blinken and these guys do not make decisions on reality. They make on their own worldview and interpretation based on their ideology and desire. And then they say, okay, you know that word, that expression, if all you have in your toolbox is a hammer, everything would be a nail around you. Everywhere you're going to see nails to hit them. And the second advice that Mr. Russell gives is love is good, hatred is bad. Well, you can say, that's obvious what's going on here. But for him to say that is very important because he was not an, he was not low IQ guy. He was a high IQ guy, and he was involved in some circles that most of us are not, and we're not, and we probably will not. Nevertheless, so love is a good force, hatred is a bad force. Well, you think about it, and I think these guys in the Western, the handlers in the West, they just do not follow his first advice, unfortunately, and we are handled by these guys. We'll see what happens. Thank you very much for being again with me today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.